Yo, it's Kato here. Couple of things. One, I recorded this video already, but I left in all of the audio, and YouTube is not the kindest website when you leave music in. So, copyrighted music at that. So, I'm just gonna have to re-record all of this stuff and go through the editor and kind of look at what I've done already. I would say if you want to build that's like you just got the game and you just want to test things out, test the waters, and see what the game feels like, what it looks like, so you kind of know what build to make next. You like your real actual build. I would say this build is good for you. This is a cool template build for 6'8", because that's what it is. And yeah, let's get into it. So first things first, you're gonna want to make a 6'8" shooting guard, 185 pounds with a 7-foot wingspan. 7-foot wingspan seems to be kind of the sweet spot for the big builds that want to kind of do everything pretty well from what I've seen. And here's the build. All of my build videos are quick. I'm not just, I'm going to go through the attributes, but I want to actually show you the build so that you can build it. And then, when it comes to cap breakers and doing all other stuff, I could just do that later, so that you get a good idea of what I'm looking at here. So, what I went with for my 6'8" was 89 driving dunk. Gets you the off ones, the pro contact dunk, the off ones and off twos. So that's great. I went for that last year and it worked out perfectly. So I went for it this year just to kind of see how the dunking is this year, which it's pretty good. So I think 89 was great. 83 3-pointer purely for limitless range. That worked out great for me as well. I went for 83 last year again with a 6'6" build and it was great. So I was like, well, we'll go with like decent shooting somewhere in the middle, but like somewhere in like the upper middle, area of shooting. And it went well. 87 mid-range purely for all the silver badges and the fact that when I specialize in shooting, which you should specialize in shooting when making this build, when you specialize in shooting, you get 2 cap breakers on shooting. So that could be an 89 mid-range, which gives you gold set shot specialist. And then when you get your max plus 2s and things like that from the seasons, you get Hall of Fame set shot special, or Hall of Fame, you get legend set shot specialist on this 6'8", 7-foot wingspan build, which I think is pretty cool. 71 free throw is decent. I always go 70, 71, or whatever the case. The lowest I go is 70. When shooting free throws in the rec, at least, I haven't played much of Pro-Am or Proving Grounds. I haven't actually gotten fouled in those modes yet, so I can't tell you what the meter looks like in there. But in the rec center, the meter's pretty big, so it's fine. 71 is cool. 71 pass accuracy. I've never thrown the ball out of bounds once. I haven't. Now, if you jump and pass, is a different story, but I don't jump and pass. I just throw regular passes. I've never thrown it out of bounds. I've thrown some passes full court where somebody may have tried to catch it and it's like a bobble or whatever, but I've never thrown the ball out of bounds or thrown it to somebody and it like hits their hand and they can't catch it. Never had that happen. Throwing a bad pass, yes, I've thrown bad passes before that resulted in somebody catching the ball because I threw a bad pass, but you could still zip this ball across the court with a 71. So 71 is perfect and you get silver dimer. Even if you go 70, that's still pretty good. It's just decent. If you want to go higher pass accuracy, by all means, go for it. It's great. But for me and my play style, 71 pass accuracy was cool. 86 ball handle purely for ankle assassin on silver. Not much more I need to say there. I mean, I love to dribble the ball, so 86 is perfect. And ankle assassin on silver is amazing. If you max plus 2 that's what, Hall of Fame ankle assassin on a 6'8", which is nuts. You already get a lot of ankle breakers as it is, especially when you get sharpshooting takeover, which this build gets. That's just overkill at that point. But 86 is perfect. 75 speed with ball. That's for Zach LaVine dribble style. So that'll be the dribble style that'll be kind of carrying you the whole way. It's the best dribble style in the game. For builds over 6'5" or over 6'4", in my opinion, it's the best dribble style. And I think in everybody else's opinion it's the best. So Zach LaVine, 74 interior defense. I think, because I'm just looking at a still image. I think I did 74 interior for post move lock or post lockdown. Got that on bronze. Just because, and then having a high interior defense or a decent one is cool because you can play hands up defense and not have to jump as much when in the paint, which is amazing. All right, 85 perimeter defense gives you silver on ball menace, which is great. You basically get silver defensive badges. This is meant to be an all-around build. It's meant to test the waters. It's meant to be a build that you pretty much can't go wrong on in 90% of the areas. You cannot go wrong on this build for the most part. So yeah, having on ball minutes on silver is decent. Pick dodger on silver is decent. Challenger on silver is decent. Again, you have your max plus 1s and max plus 2s and all that. So if it gets to the point where it's like, I'm not really running this build for offense, the shooting's decent, I don't want to max plus 2 anything offense, I want to do everything defense, you could have Hall of Fame Challenger or Hall of Fame on ball or gold on ball or Hall of Fame pick dodger. I've had Hall of Fame pick dodger. it doesn't seem like it's enough, which is why I made a lockdown that's able to get Hall of Fame or Legend Pick Dodger when I max it out. But silver, I ain't gonna lie, when you play against them strong centers that have a brick wall above gold, it's hard. But if they have silver or bronze, I think you'll be fine. As long as you play sides with whoever you playing with, I think you'll be straight, because you're 6'8". Remember that, like, you're tall, you have a long wingspan. So even if they get a little bit of space, you can still jump over there, which if I have a 78 block, you can still jump over there and get a good contest. 79 steal gets you silver interceptor and silver glove. Again, testing the waters. So I'm, decent steal. I can still get lane steals. Pretty great, actually. Pretty great lane steals. You can still get bumps with this build, even though on-ball steals are heavily nerfed at the time we're recording this. And then a 78 block, I went for silver high flying denier. You needed high vertical for this too, but the vertical doesn't really matter as much because you're already using that for driving dunk. But high flying denier on silver, and then you also get paint patroller on this build, which is great. You have the interior defense and the block to get paint patroller on bronze, which is pretty good. People tend to miss shots and stuff, so you're gonna be guarding guards, and if a guard decides they want to go up with like a close shot or some type of layup down low, you'll be able to make a miss. 70 offensive rebound, amazing. So far when I've used it, I've gotten some crazy rebounds on a build that I wasn't even making 2 rebound. You get silver box out beast and I think bronze rebound chaser with a 70 offensive rebound. So there's that. But man, the rebounding ability on this build actually surprised me, because I wasn't even making it 2 rebound. But it does actually grab some clutch offensive rebounds if you position yourself correctly. So now here's where people might be looking at it. If you weren't looking at the pass accuracy and saying, that's a bit weird, or the driving layup saying that it's a bit weird, the speed and agility is pretty low. Now, last year, 80 speed, 80 agility was pretty much all I needed. I had a 6'6" lockdown. I played in all the game modes, stage, pro-am. I played every game mode. Around the 80s was cool because instead of guarding the player, I used to guard a zone. Now this year, you can't really get away with that because people can hit everything, which is great. I like that style of gameplay where, there's no RNG. So you have to play a little closer. But even then, with an 81 speed and 80 agility, it's actually pretty great. You can still turn on a dime. You're still decently fast. You can keep up with mostly everybody. I would say the only issues you run into with an 81 speed would be chasing the guards to the corner. That has happened to me a lot of times where they'll come off the screen. Usually the screen is what's slowing me down. If they don't run me off a screen and I'm chasing them to the corner, I could still catch up and still get a good contest. But if they run you off a screen, you're probably not going to catch up with an 81 speed, 80 agility, unfortunately. But other than that, decent stats. 72 strength, great for stopping ball handlers, stonewalling them. I wanted to have some strength on my build to see if a movable enforcer was still kind of, hidden. So I have that on bronze and then brick wall on silver, just in case, I tend to get back down. I want to have something that can kind of help with that. But a movable enforcer on bronze, to talk about that badge really fast. If you can get it on bronze, if you can get the badge at all, go for it. A movable enforcer is such a great badge to have on all positions of the court, especially at the lockdown position. If you're making a lock with no strength, you're gonna get killed. Like, you have to have strength. Having a 72 strength, usually I like to cut people off. The way you play defense this year is way more honest than it's been in a lot of previous 2Ks. Usually people just reach for the ball and spam square or spam X to get steals. Not necessarily this year. You have to cut people off. You have to read where people are going. Unfortunately, the latency in this game does not help with that. Like, I hate how there's an online and offline switch in 2K. It's $1 billion company. That's a story for another day. But yeah, cutting guards off with a 72 strength, it's great. It stonewalls them and makes them kind of rethink what they want to do. So having that, the movable enforcer pops up all the time. Literally every time you touch somebody on defense, it always pops up. Improving your strength, improving the fact so that you can't get blown by or people could just run right through you. And then we already went over 78 vertical. It's probably helping my rebounds too with a 78 vertical, but purely that's for the driving dunk. When you're done making the build name you get is a 2-way mid-range slasher. Fantastic build name. I mean, yeah, it's a 2-way. You can excel in the mid-range because you're gonna have an 89 mid-range shot, and you can dunk and finish at the rim. And the ball handling is a nice plus. So, a pretty accurate name. But one of the big things about this build is if you look towards the bottom right, it says no big weaknesses to report. This was the first build I made on this game with no videos, no anything. Actually, no, it's a lie. The only thing I watched on this game was people dribbling to figure out what the dribbling attributes needed to be, and then what certain badge requirements were, and then I just went from there. So I literally made this build. This build is, I'm not coming on here saying this is the best build in the game, this is the best build for, no. This is a build that I made for me. So it's a build that works great for me. I don't know what it'll do for you, you know, if you decide to make it. Hopefully you do, because it is a great build. But you know, if you do decide to make it as your first build, it's a great first build. I use this build still, and I have a better understanding of the game, and I have better builds for certain situations, but I still find myself going back and using this build a lot. It is a great build to come back to and use. Yeah, I mean, it gets shades of John Starks, Eddie Jones, and Tracy McGrady. It's great. The build is great. It's a great all-arounder. It's a good build to me, you know, to me. Yeah, that's my two-way. You know, if you make it, I hope you enjoy it. I don't think I went over takeovers. It might be in here because again, I have to re-record this. The takeovers you get: sharpshooting, poster machine. You get decent takeovers with it. You can excel with it. And yeah, if you like this video, leave a like. If you got any comments on this build or just builds in general, and you want to learn some things about the builder, if you have questions, or if you want to give me tips and tricks on, you know, what works, what kind of doesn't for you, maybe I can come back and make an even crazier 6-8 build that I, you know, take out there and try out, because I do have Legend Rebirth. Somehow I only have 2 builds at 95 and they gave me Legend, so maybe that's a glitch, I don't know. But 2 builds in 95, I have Legends, so I can literally go back in and remake this build. You know, I have my own VC method, so I have a ton of VC. I can go back in and make a max overall 6-8 and test some things out. So, you know, if you have any suggestions, or if you have any hangups with the build or concerns, you know, voice them in the comments. I would love to have a discourse with you, and, you know, we can kind of go over, you know, how to just make some better stuff and, you know, better builds in general, either for the channel or for the community as a whole. I don't know. But yeah, comment, you know, whatever you might want to comment about this build or any other builds. And don't forget to subscribe, man. It helps the channel out a lot. It helps it grow, helps the community grow. And yeah, as always, have a great rest of your day.
Point guard don't set him up right, so shit.
Getting that bitch up.
Oh my God.
What the just cut it up? You mastered that little weak ass step back. What's your midi, Kato?
87.
Yep. Kato, you got defense on him?
I do.
You're a fucking crackhead.
Yeah. Check 3 brain cells, fuck.
6.
Oh! Get that nigga that ball, fuck. He gonna put it in bucket, fuck. Man, get that bitch #1, fuck. That bitch #1, fuck.
My back go, yeah.
Hey, Deli, check 3 brain.
They playing tight close now. They not
Better.
going.
Watch the back door, kiddo.
It don't make no difference, nigga. It's 4 other motherfuckers on the same. They can do the same shit.
Man, get your big ass down there. You should be down the court when that ball go. You satisfied with 10, boy.
You made that?
10.
Kato's. Dang. Can I get 20 assists though?
Hell no, fuck.
At least you know.
He said folks want to sit there right away, fuck.
Man, who
Old banana, fuck. Hey, get that shot in here. Let's go, Kato. Corner, right corner, yeah. You can't see him. Can't see him. He's 6'2", folks.
Testing the game, so you did. James Harden shit going on in the bitch.
Ugh. The fuck?
This nigga Kato, bro.
God damn.
Hey.
And 1.
I should have some snacks. Dead homies.
Well, I got a shit, bro. This for Tata.
That's all you need.
Like, it didn't want to green. It didn't.
Me, you, and what's the name on something?
I was gonna say part
here.
up. You got Kato there.
Ugh.
God, Kato. Ski.
Oof. Nigga got the rebound. Buckets.
It's decent, I ain't gonna lie.
What about the
Yeah, the
pants?
whole little kit.
Oh my god, that's nice.
Belly. What the belly? I told Pootie rub my belly.
Shit cheap, bro.